Home to about 25 million individuals representing every state of Nigeria and almost every country of the world. These are part of the factors which have made Lagos the commercial capital of Nigeria. Now, this is its status 25 years after the seat of Nigeria's capital has been moved from it to Abuja. And now Lagos has been tagged the fifth largest economy on the African continent. And this is even before the proceeds of being an oil-producing state. What difference would this make? Let's talk Lagos on this episode of Big Story. I'm Ini Thompson. This is where a large number of revenue-generating activities, especially in the private sector in Nigeria, take place. Lagos is one of the popular, if not the most populous state in Nigeria. Although the landmass is the smallest at about 3,000 kilometers square, yet in population, it competes with the most populated in the country. This influx of people and their activities have generated almost 102 billion naira in the first quarter of 2006 and earned the state the rank of the fifth largest economy in Africa after the rebasing of the Nigerian economy. This position is one which the governor, Akinwumi Ambode, is understandably proud of and intends to leverage on. He said this during a special visit from the representatives of the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce. For him, Lagos is strategically positioned to pull Nigeria out of recession.
Beyond the fact that we are the fifth largest economy in Africa, the drive to take Nigeria out of recession actually resides in the likes of you and the kind of willingness on our own part to drive Nigeria out of recession. So receiving you is instructive to send a message to say that this recession is going to be a collaboration out of the woods between the private sector and the public sector. Moving forward, very soon we will be setting up what we refer to as an economic management team to drive the fifth largest economy, because that's the way we need to start to think. That's the way we need to envision ourselves. And this economic management team will involve nominees from your chamber and other people in the other private sector, so that we can collaborate together with the way we think in government, because majorly this economy is driven by the private sector. Our own is just to create an enabling environment, and if we fuse all that together, I think that synergy can just catapult Lagos into that global city-state that we want it to be. I'm happy that you've also said that you are committed in allowing us to have access to global fund. I also see Lagos globally, and that's why we decided that we're going to set up that Office of Overseas Affairs and Investment so that we can think globally, and that's the only way to go forward. If we start to say we're center of excellence and we're number one out of the 36 states, then it means our benchmarking is just not the kind of global drive that we want to give to Nigerians. And I'm happy that we seem to have a convergence in vision, and we seem to have that convergence in the drive to make this happen, at least in our own generation, just to prove a point that there is still a future for Nigerians.
In its 20 local government areas and 56 local council development areas, the state boasts of important features of the country, such as the ports, which includes the Lagos Port Complex and Tinkan Island Port. This consists of berthing areas, cargo handling, stocking, as well as storage facilities.
International terminal.
It's also home to one of the busiest airports in Nigeria, Murtala Mohammed, which has two sides, international and local. It is headquarters to most of the private companies operating in the country, and open markets where food crops and other items produced in other parts of the country end up.
How are you, China?
All this and much more has kept the state as the commercial hub of Nigeria and home to indigenes of all 36 states of the country.
Lagos strive because of the private sector that we have.
they're enterprising, they are the engine room of the economy of Lagos. It's not the government, it's the private sector and what they can do. That's why we challenge ourselves every year to ensure that we continue to engage the private sector towards making sure that the ease of doing business is enhanced. Because it's when the private sector thrive that Lagos thrive. And if you also look at it in terms of the infrastructure in Lagos, we have the ports, or the manufacturing. Lagos is the hub of financial services industry in Nigeria and even in West Africa. So these are the things that play up to make Lagos economy very strong.
However, these benefits come with some responsibilities.
We also have challenges in terms of the infrastructure deficit that we have. In the next 5 years, it's been estimated that we need about $50 billion to fix the infrastructure deficit that we have in Lagos. And that's quite high. It's huge. So the implication of that is that we need to continue to be more efficient in our revenue generation drive. We also need to introduce block leakages. We also then need to also look at this burden and see how we can reduce it as much as we can.
Stop disturbing the Senate. Take your seat.
This is the basis on which Senator Oluremi Tinubu, representing Lagos Central, sponsored a bill for special status for Lagos, which she said is premised on the promise of the federal government that the state will always be treated special as a former national capital.
The bill aims to remedy the many problems faced by residents and visitors in Lagos by empowering the federal government to make provision for economic assistance through grants as provided for under Section 164, subsection 1 of the Constitution of 1999 as amended.
What does this bill ask for? It is asking for 1% of the federal government's allocation, just 1%. And